Hey everyone, welcome to I'm just going to give you guys a Pinterest strategy tip for success. And this is based on questions that I get quite often from business owners that either are looking at growing on Pinterest or they're already on Pinterest and they want to know how to maximize what they're already doing. So my name is Jen Dice, if we haven't met yet. I'm a Pinterest strategist and I'm a mom of two, and I really love talking with other business owners about how to get more visible, how to grow your brand, and just how to utilize Pinterest and the power behind Pinterest as a marketing tool that's going to just on an evergreen level support everything else that you're doing in your business. So today I wanted to talk about this question that I get, and actually when I answer this question, it really is a piece of the overall strategy that I talk with my current clients about, and it's a part of the strategy that I implement for the clients that I'm working with as well, or help them to implement. So when it comes to the first question a lot of people ask me is, well, how do I know if my people are on Pinterest? How do I know if Pinterest is going to work for me? How do I approach Pinterest in a way that's a little bit more strategic outside of just repurposing the content that I'm already creating? So in other words, how do you go from just the Pinterest as this tool that you're aware of, and maybe you're already putting content on there, but how do you leverage it? So my tip for you today, if we're looking at Pinterest strategy and where to get started, is that very first piece of the customer journey. So if you're looking at Pinterest as a tool for traffic, you have to look at it from the standpoint of your customers, your potential clients, and really try to step into their shoes and try to get a sense of where they're at, what they're thinking, what they're looking for, what they're feeling, what they're going through. When you answer those initial questions, that's going to help guide you towards where you as a business might position yourself on Pinterest, and it'll help guide you towards the types of content that you can create to serve that person. So the tip is basically looking at stepping into the shoes of your customer. So if you are wondering, is Pinterest right for me? Are we doing this correctly? How do we get more out of Pinterest? The first thing to do, and my tip for you today, is to step into your customer's shoes, because when you do that and you start answering some of those questions, you're able to better see the world and to see how they would approach the platform, more so compared to then how you might think you approach the platform, if that makes sense. So you're trying to really see Pinterest and how they would approach it through their eyes, through that lens, versus your lens as the business owner thinking, well, I've got this thing and I'm going to put it on Pinterest and it's going to be great. And I've got this content and I'm going to put it on Pinterest and it's going to be great. This is taking a step back and really figuring out where your person is at. So one question is thinking about, when you're stepping into the shoes of your ideal customer, your ideal client, your potential clients and customers, where are they at on their journey? So if they are currently in your one-to-ones, your group coaching, if they're currently a customer, this is a point where you can you can talk to them a little bit. You can, especially if you're in the coaching or consulting industry, the clients that are paying you for your one-to-one level services or your group coaching programs, the ones that already are already buyers and already trust you, you can get some feedback from them to get some insight as to where they might have been 6 months ago, 12 months ago. Where were they when they were first starting this search and discovery process? Because that's a lot of times when people are looking for solutions, they're looking for ways that they can do it for themselves. They're going to start with the search engines. They're going to start with Pinterest. They're going to start with Google. They're going to go search on Google. They're going to look on YouTube. They're looking for solutions. So thinking in that frame of mind of where is that person earlier on in their journey? Where are they at in their journey if they are going to be on Pinterest? So your person that's on Pinterest today might first come to you and not book that one-to-one session with you, but she might become that client 6 months from now. but what is she looking for today? So kind of thinking where they're at in their journey. So one example I can think of is let's say you are in the finance space, whether you do bookkeeping, accounting, or anything along those lines. The people that are paying you for your done for you services, they're likely not searching Pinterest for how to get started on Pinterest. If they were, they ultimately probably would be more likely to search like how to hire, how to go about outsourcing Pinterest. Maybe they're in that frame of mind of how do I find somebody to do this for me? But most of the time, that person that is paying you right now was in a different spot a year ago. So think about where she was when she first started her business, and she was trying to figure out if she was setting up her books right. She was trying to figure out like, how do I get my crap together so that I can bring it to my first CPA? Am I setting enough stuff aside for taxes? Like when we're newer in business, like that's kind of where that person is at. So that person is going to start in their discovery process on Pinterest looking for maybe help setting up a simple spreadsheet, maybe help with tips on what they need to, how they need to categorize or set up their accounting process, their bookkeeping process. They're looking for that initial help because they're still in that phase of their business and on their journey that they are managing it on their own. So that is one example. So that person today, they might not be, if they're searching for like how to do your own bookkeeping, or they want help or tips with that for their business, then they're a newer business owner, they might not be ready to hire you to outsource their bookkeeping or to outsource their accounting or, along those lines. So, but they are in one phase of that journey. So that's where they're at if they're starting that search and discovery phase on Pinterest. So kind of keep that in mind if that helps, that analogy for just where your customer is at on their journey. So that's number one, is thinking where they're at that entry level point. So for me, working with other business owners and helping them with Pinterest, I know there's a big spectrum of clients. There's a certain type of client that is going to reach out and book a discovery call because they want me to take over their Pinterest. They just don't have time for it, and they want somebody that knows how to get everything set up, and they just want it handled. They want to be hands off with it. That's one type of a client. That they might be on Pinterest looking for how to outsource, how to hire, what to look for in somebody that's going to be managing their Pinterest or helping them with a Pinterest strategy. But there's a whole other set of clients that they're interested in Pinterest and they just want help with some steps on how to get set up on Pinterest. And so that's where I can meet them where they're at with some of those resources, with some of those, that content. So that's where I can meet them where they're at on that journey. So kind of thinking where they're at on their journey. The other thing is then when you figure that out, what value can you give them at that level? So if they're on Pinterest and they're looking for like help with setting up their bookkeeping so that they have everything in order when they do go to their accountant at tax time, what value can you give that person at that level? If you don't want to serve them at that level, then don't. That you don't have to do it that way, but just realize that your person is going to start on this journey at one point, and maybe a year from now, 6 months from now, they're in a completely different point in their business, and they're like, yeah, I don't want to touch my books anymore. You do it because you were the person that gave me these resources early on in my journey. So yes, I'm going to reach out. Let me know more about your services. I want you to do this for me. So that's kind of that progression of your person as they grow and as they evolve. And so you have to figure out where they're at, if they're searching on Pinterest, what they're searching for, and then how you can add value to solve that entry level problem that they might be looking for on Pinterest. And every industry is going to vary. You're going to have clients at a lot of different phases searching on Pinterest. It's just figuring out where they're at, and you would know your customers and your clients a little bit better, but where they're at on that evolution of going from just getting started. So maybe doing a little bit of the DIY, maybe they'll reach out to do a little bit like a strategy session or a little help with the done with you, where you coach them through some things, and then all the way up until your fuller level of support, that higher ticket, that one-to-one level. So we all go through phases at different points in our business. So keeping that in mind. And then the other thing is then making sure that you're meeting them where they're at their different phases in their journey. So if you like meeting them where they're at when they're just getting started. So again, back to that bookkeeping example, right? So you have a newer business owner, they're just getting set up, they're just starting to bring in revenue into their business. So a lot of us go through this period of like, yes, I'm getting client, I'm getting money, there's money coming in the door. Oh crap, what do I do with it? How do I pay myself? How do I set money aside for taxes? And then it's just this overwhelm. And there's so many things that you as a business owner don't realize. So meeting that person where they're at is one way to serve, you know, if that's somebody you want to talk to when they're early on in their journey. And then matching Pinterest. So if you're giving them those resources, you're helping them get their bookkeeping sort of set up so they can kind of do it on their own with some level of support. You're having a way to pull them into your world. So you utilizing Pinterest to then, you know, grow your email list, bring them into your world so you can connect with them more. You can build and nurture that relationship. You stay in front of them. Maybe you want them to ultimately find you on Instagram and they can follow you there, just continuing to nurture and build that relationship, and then figuring out what would that next step be. And then how can I serve them there? So that entry level step might be all you're on Pinterest for, right? And then that next level, your person may or may not be as in tune with utilizing Pinterest as a way to find answers. So you as a business have to look at where are my people at if they're using Pinterest? What will Pinterest help them find? What would they be looking for? And where would they be at on their journey when they're using Pinterest as a part of that journey? So then figuring out what they're looking for and then meeting them where they're at and providing them with that solution that's going to help them at that phase in their business journey. And then again, continuing to evolve and grow that relationship so that you become that point person that they start to know, like, and trust. And that's how long-term you're building that community, you're building that relationship. Pinterest is just a starting point. It's a way that you're going to open yourself up and get more visible to other people that you might not have. And you're getting visible to them while they're searching for something. You're not interrupting their scroll like you would be on like Facebook or Instagram if you were doing ads or anything like that. But on Pinterest, they're actually searching for you. They're searching for a solution. They're not searching for you, but they're searching to solve a problem, and you just show up where they're at and provide them that solution, give them that value, and then ultimately pull them into your world, your community. So I hope that was helpful. This is something that, you know, when you're looking at Pinterest, a lot of people miss. They just think, I'm just going to create a bunch of content, put a bunch of content out there, and then people are just going to come to my website. And yes, getting traffic to your website is a part of it, but it's more about getting the targeted traffic from Pinterest to your website and then giving them that next step so that they continue along that customer journey with you. Stepping into the shoes of your customer, that's like the first piece of that whole walk that they have with you. And that's something that I work with my one-to-one clients. I work with anybody that I coach through strategy or anybody that I work with in my group program. So being able to define where your person is at, that's just the tip of the iceberg of where they're going with you as a business owner. So kind of mapping out the rest of that customer journey, that is where you start to get into really leveraging the efforts that you're putting on Pinterest. You're not just getting traffic to your website for the sake of getting traffic. You're not trying to pay your bills with impressions that you're getting on Pinterest. You cannot pay your bills with the monthly views you get off of Pinterest. It is about the conversions that are going on behind the scenes and the people that are actually saying yes to you by clicking on your content and visiting your website and getting over to see you and learn more about who you are, what you do, how you can help them. So if this was helpful, I will, please feel free to drop any comments or questions in the post below. But this is something that we do cover quite a bit within the From Pin to Paid membership. And that is where I walk with you. We work together to get through some of this strategy, the strategy piece to figure out where your clients are at, where your customers are at, the type of content you should be creating, even the type of offers that would work well out on Pinterest. So this is more than just a course. You have access to my framework, but it's not just a static course because Pinterest is not a one size fits all. You have to build something that's customized for you and your business. And with Pinterest being an evergreen platform, it's organic traffic, there's a long-term growth element to it. So this is something you have to commit to and implement to see the long-term results in your business. So that is why I love working with other businesses in that group atmosphere, answering questions, helping you guys figure out what is needed to get your Pinterest, not just get your business on Pinterest, but get set up so that you're optimized and you're ready for growth and you're starting to grow your brand and reach targeted people, a targeted audience on Pinterest. So you're pulling the right people off of Pinterest onto your email list and growing and building that community that is yours, that you can nurture and grow for the long term. So for more information on that, if you're watching this on Instagram, there is a link in my bio with more information. You can feel free to send me a DM, reach out, and I'm happy to chat more about the membership. And if you're catching this on Facebook as a replay, I will drop the link in the comments. Again, please feel free to reach out, send me a DM. The doors are open to the membership, and I look forward to meeting you, talking with you more, and hopefully seeing you inside the program. All right, guys, have a wonderful day, and I will be back soon.